This anime has done so much for me, even though at the end of the day, it's just a show that I watched. I still remember this anime like I watched it yesterday. And I think that if I didn't watch this anime, my life would not be where it is right now. Initial D is an anime about a young man named Takumi Fujiwara who works at a gas station pumping gas, and occasionally delivers tofu from his dad's tofu shop, which is located in the same building that he lives in. Despite the legal age for driving in Japan being 18, Fujiwara has delivered food from his family's Toyota AE86 Trueno for around 4 years. And through that time, he's been challenging himself to see how fast he can deliver the tofu, and if a customer orders a drink, he tries to keep the drink from spilling while driving really fast. Some of these challenges are also made by his dad, Bunta Fujiwara. One night, as a racer named Keisuke Takahashi is driving home, he notices a Toyota car on Akina Hill, a hill located in the Gunma prefecture of Japan. This car is Fujiwara's 86, and Takahashi ends up racing and losing to this car. Later on, there's a race between the local team, the Akina Speedstars, against the highly experienced Red Suns, led by the famous and skilled racer, Ryosuke Takahashi, who is the older brother of Keisuke Takahashi, the guy I mentioned earlier. Before the race, the leader of the Speedstars, Koichiro Iketani, who works with Fujiwara at the gas station, gets injured. Unable to race, Fujiwara is then recruited to the Speedstars to race against the Red Suns. And after winning against Keisuke in the upcoming race, Fujiwara goes on a long journey, racing against various people all across Japan. I watched this anime 3 years ago, back in my second year of college. I overheard my roommates talking about music they listened to when studying. One of my roommates said, "Oh, you should listen to that Initial D music. Very motivational." And just so you guys know, this is not word for word, this is just what I remembered. I looked up Initial D and I found out that it was a car racing anime. At the time, I never watched any anime like this. I've seen a lot of sports anime, but this was completely different. I remember holding off on this anime for a while because I personally didn't like the 3D graphics this anime used with the car racing. I thought the anime would be like this the whole way, but after contemplating for a bit, I decided to give it a shot, because why not? It was available on Hulu, which I was using at the time, and it wasn't that long either. I turned on that first episode, and I thought it was the most boring anime ever. It felt like it dragged on for too long. I thought I was wasting my time. 67 episodes, and I got an essay due the next day at 11:59 p.m.? No, I'm not doing this. But one thing I was still drawn to was the soundtrack. I love tracks like Deja Vu and Running in the 90s, and I would have these tracks going on repeat when it was time to study for midterms. But then I thought to myself, why am I listening to these tracks when I don't even watch the show? I had to give it another chance, and I did. And that was probably the best decision I've made in a while. After episode 1, the racing got more intense, the characters got more interesting, and the art style of the show just went through the roof. And the soundtrack was phenomenal. I couldn't stop watching Initial D. It probably took me a good 2 to 3 weeks to watch seasons 1 through 4. Yeah, I know it may take you guys a quicker amount of time to watch an anime like this, but I'm just not built like you guys. Sorry. And after I watched season 4, I was disappointed. You know why? Because I couldn't watch the last 2 seasons of the anime. They weren't available anywhere legally. I didn't want to sail the high seas just to finish the anime I've already invested a lot of time into. That's ridiculous. So you know what I did? I read the manga. From the ending of season 4 to the end of the series. And while I didn't enjoy it as much as the show, I felt it was a good use of my time. And it was good to get closure on such an amazing series. So, the main question you guys may have now is, how did this anime save my life? What could a show like this do to someone like me?
It's just a Japanese cartoon.
Well, it's not much about the show, but the timing of when I watched it. You see, during this time, COVID lockdown made my OCD habits go up, and even though quarantine ended, my habits were still there. And one of the things I was scared to do was drive. Even though I had a license, I was worried that I would make a wrong move and cause an accident. And I was also worried about my car breaking down in the middle of the road and going out of control, eventually causing an accident. This caused me to stay isolated inside my home and not wanting to go outside, because if I did, I'd have to drive to places. I didn't want to get behind the wheel. With always wanting to stay inside, my OCD habits just kept growing. And even though I ran and lifted weights, that still didn't help me solve my mental problems. But from this show, the way these guys were racing with their cars and the tricks they could do with them seemed so cool, and it gave me the desire to drive more. Not drive like drift and all that, or go 90 into 60. That's just not cool. But just being out on the road, going places, and having control over what I could do, and being away at college living on campus, I wasn't able to have a car over there. So when winter break hit, what do you think I did when I got home? Yep, you guessed it. I drove everywhere. I drove to places down the street, I drove to trails, I drove to different cities. I just went and did everything I wanted, and I felt no stress. And the more I did it, the easier it became, and the more confident I was in my driving abilities. No longer were the times I was scared to get behind the wheel. In fact, it was almost a blessing to do it, a privilege, if you think of it that way. Other than driving, the soundtrack was super motivational. It helped me get through a lot of work, both in school and outside of school. And I would listen to this soundtrack when I was in the gym or even when I was driving. It was amazing. I don't think any anime has given me as many positive moments as Initial D has. And there really aren't many other anime like this out there. I've seen other racing anime like MF Ghost, which is the sequel to Initial D, Redline, and Overtake, but they were nowhere near the level of Initial D. I see so many people criticizing anime today about how it's unhealthy for you to watch and how it's a waste of time and how every anime has risque images. Well, not every anime has risque images, and live action shows aren't exempt from risque images either. But I think grouping an entire medium, not genre, medium of shows together and giving it a bad light is unfair to anime like Initial D to help people like me out. I mean, look at my channel wallpaper in this animation. The cars in here are the Toyota 86 from the show. That's how obsessed I am with Initial D. Regardless, Initial D is a great anime. The ending could have been better, and I think there is a bit too much plot armor. But other than that, this anime is fascinating. Highly recommend to anyone. For sentimental reasons, I will give this anime a 10 out of 10. It may not be perfect for some, but it's perfect for me. What pisses me off is that at the time of this video, there's no legal way to watch Initial D if you live in the US. Hulu removed it, Funimation had it and moved it to Crunchyroll, but now Crunchyroll doesn't have it. For anyone looking for a way to watch this great anime, sorry, I don't know a legal way to watch it. The only thing I can recommend is to read the entire manga on Amazon, included with Kindle Unlimited, which is a subscription-based service you pay around $10 a month for to read manga and other books on Amazon. You'll still have a wonderful time viewing this series, but I recommend viewing the anime if you can find some way to watch it, just for the Eurobeat soundtrack, because it is amazing. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss another video of mine. And if you've watched or read Initial D, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know in the comments. And until then, I'll see you all in the next one.